A pickup truck called the Ford Ranger has been produced for more than 2 decades. But it's over there, across the ocean. We are interested in the Ranger that has been officially sold in Russia since 2004. The Ford Ranger and its Mazda BT50 clone, called the B2500 until 2007, are produced in Thailand at the Avto Alliance plant. In addition to the emblem, they differ in some body parts and approaches to equipment. In addition, at one time Mazda had dollar prices, and Ford went for the euro. So it is not surprising that Mazda is still more in the secondary market, especially since it came to us a little earlier. It should be clarified right away that the Ford Ranger, bought in dealerships before the end of 2006, was offered with a single turbo diesel engine with a working volume of 2.5 liters, 109 horsepower. In 2007, the updated model received a new turbo diesel with a common rail direct injection system. Its power is already 143 liters. As for the Ranger from America, other engines were installed on them, but it is impossible to confuse our Thai and the overseas cowboy. Their appearance is different. Structurally, the diesel of pre-styling specimens is simple, like the thoughts of a tractor driver. Of course, the bad diesel fuel can kill any motor, but this unit was not noticed in soreness. For its long life, you need to regularly change the oil and all filters, and for trouble-free starts, blow plugs. And, of course, do not forget that such low-volume motors do not tolerate operation at high speeds with the heavy load. Yes, and one more thing, before buying a pickup truck with such an engine, it's a good idea to imagine its accelerating dynamics. 100 kilometers per hour is gained in a tedious 23.1 seconds. So even the old Lada will go away from him to the point. Common rail engines have shown themselves to be somewhat more capricious about fuel and frost, but problems with them are rare. Although, maybe the point here is that they are still quite young. But the difference in power and torque, of course, is evident. Automatic gearboxes were installed only on overseas copies. In our country, everything was limited to 5-speed mechanics. 4-wheel drive, only such modifications were sold in Russia, is implemented according to the classic part-time 4WD scheme. That is, the 4x4 mode can only be used on slippery surfaces. Of course, the transfer case is equipped with a reduction gear. There is also a button for connecting the front hubs, RFW, located to the left of the steering wheel. Also, most specimens have a limited slip differential in the rear axle. There are no serious problems with the transmission. Only the current front gear oil seals were included in the service statistics. The right drive seal is leaking more often. It happens that crosses die untimely. However, if the crosses are injected at each tube, then they will not be demolished. With a running gear, where there is a torsion bar suspension in front and springs in the back, the problems are commonplace. But their main reason lies in the features of operation. Shock absorbers can leak without even passing 50,000 kilometers. Hub bearings are also not among the centenarians. Otherwise, everything is very tenacious. That's just bursting sheets of springs were observed, and not only in cars carrying heavy loads. Despite the attributes of a full-fledged Rogue, such as a frame structure, a continuous rear axle, a full-fledged transfer case, a pickup truck is not quite an SUV. The fact is that it is focused primarily on the transportation of goods, up to 1,000 kilograms. And this means a large rear overhang and incorrect weight distribution of an unloaded car. The latter is manifested in the fact that in an empty pickup truck, firstly, the rear wheels have less grip with the bearing surface, and secondly, the rear suspension does not work quite efficiently. Now, if you put something weighing 300 kilograms into the body, the behavior of the car changes radically. Improves adhesion to the ground, disappears the tendency to skid and goat. In the electrical part, mass complaints are caused by malfunctions of the door limit switches. It's not scary if they only work to indicate an open door, but if they are tied to an alarm. There are failures of the fuel gauge, RFW control relay, ABS sensors. On copies with air conditioning, cracks were noted on the tubes with all the consequences. According to the body of the complaint, there are bursting side mirrors. After a couple of our winters, chrome may begin to swell on them or a mirror element bloom around the edges. Chrome also swells sometimes on other shiny elements. In the cold, there were malfunctions of the rear door limiters. They simply did not allow the door to be opened or closed without serious effort. A frequently purchased body part is a tailgate. It is bent when parking or when transporting oversized heavy loads. After that, it may begin to spontaneously open on the go. In general, the Thai Tandem, with its purpose, the transportation of goods on bad roads, copes well. There are cases of its successful operation as an expeditionary vehicle. But if the owner is haunted by the laurels of a trophist or a rally driver, then the pickup truck does not stand up for a long time and begins to ask for repairs. Hence the simple moral, more or less prepared for off-road instances. By the way, to install wheels with a diameter of more than 32 inches, a lift is already required, should be avoided.